Sir, I stand to oppose the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill 2023. Sir, let us deal with Article 123. In 2017, Supreme Court in Krishna Kumar held that the ordinance cannot be made to serve an oblique purpose. An ordinance cannot be made to perpetrate a fraud on the constitutional process and to achieve a purportedly oblique purpose. Supreme Court has repeatedly stated ordinance making powers are not routine legislative powers and are supposed to be used solely in emergent situations. The word that has been used by Supreme Court in terms of ordinance is necessity and immediate action, which indicate that ordinance making powers are not to be used on mere whims. This is what this government has done. The court held that where ordinance making powers is based on extraneous grounds and the purpose of ordinance was to perpetrate a constitutional fraud, the courts will interfere and strike down such ordinance. I hope that third time again you lose this case in Supreme Court. What was this ordinance if not petty politics, sir? In the garb of lawmaking within 8 days of Supreme Court judgment, the purpose was mala fide because it snatched the mandate of the electorate and gave it to an unelected civil servant. This is constitutional fraud being perpetrated in broad daylight. Sir, may I give you an example of what the government proposes to do? Sir, you are a very seasoned politician, a senior politician. Look at section 45I4. It requires that before issuing any order, a minister must submit his proposal to Chief Secretary, Chief Minister and Lieutenant Governor. And the list of that matters submitted to LG is expansive. It includes 45I4I matters likely to affect peace and tranquility of NCDT. 45I4 subsection 9, any other matter of administrative importance which the President of India may consider necessary. This basically means that before doing anything at all, the ministers will have to seek the permission of Shri Amit Shah. What use having a minister at all? Similarly, sir, let us look at section 45J subsection 3, which places a duty on the Secretary to Council of Ministers to bypass the CM and inform the LG. Similar clause 4 of 45J4 requires the department secretaries to determine that something is likely to cause controversy with the central government, Supreme Court, other state high court. Once they have determined it, they are required to report to LG. The CM is a showpiece. He's a showboy over there. Now, section 45J, subsection 5, the chief secretary is required to ignore the order of the CM minister, report to LG anything he determines the violation of the act. Violation of act to go to court. And that is why we have in our constitution article, sir, you want to speak?
Please.
Sir,
please.
that is why in our constitution we have article 311. Every legislator says that if a civil servant doesn't act in good faith, he is protected. But you are saying that, oh, if you should determine what is violation, then why do we have courts? Let us go close down the courts. Sir, another example I want to give you. In the recital to the ordinance says that ordinance wants to ensure that the will of the officer of GNCD is represented. Sir, officers have no will of their own. The only will that matters in our democracy is the will of the people that is expressed through elections. This bill which you have brought is horrible, absurd, sir. I mean, this is patently absurd and horrible. Now, sir, it violates the principles of federalism. Why I say elected government is being provided for, but the administrative officers under it are answerable to the union government. To an elected appointee. Principle of federalism clearly applies in this. You have an elected government. The elected government decides the policy, not the officials. I can understand the pressure which the ministers are facing, but for God's sake, don't put your pains on other elected governments. In this way, in a blatantly wrong way, sir. Sir, and I want to, the Honorable Home Minister is here, he quoted Pandit Nehru. Let me quote what Nehru said in 1930, in Ludhiana State People's Conference in 1939. Nehru said the only final authority and paramount power that we recognize is the will of the people. And then in 1938, our freedom fighters moved a resolution, Haripura, stating that the Purna Swaraj, what was that? It meant freedom for all of India, including princely states. The resolution said that the only kind of federation that can be acceptable is one in which states participate as free units, enjoying the same measure of democratic freedom as the rest of India. Now, the Honorable Home Minister says that they will do a better job. Yes, we know you did a fantastic job when lawyers protested. We know that you did a fantastic job by arresting only one community in Northeast Delhi riots. You did a fantastic job which will be written in annals of history on January 26 when farmers protested. So what is the point of taking more responsibility when you cannot discharge these responsibilities? Sir, but at the same time, it is unfortunate that it is a lesson for this Delhi government. You supported the removal of 370. So what goes around comes around. You cannot shout victim now. And sir, I want to know from the Honorable Home Minister replies, what, Atal Bihari Vajpayee government had tabled a bill in this house for complete statehood. Maybe you were there, sir, at that time. You placed a bill in this house for complete statehood. What is your policy? Why is the government demeaning the dignity of this august house? Take your political fights outside this house. We want to know what is your position on that, sir. And also, sir, please, if you want to end this farce, remove our 69th amendment. Remove this farce. Remove our 69th amendment. No need of that. And lastly, sir, why are you opposing this man? He is your genetically modified product. He came out of your think tank. What went wrong? I'm surprised. We knew that he was your man. He's still your man. Ideologically, he's the more closest to you. Maybe you want to use him for some rainy day when you're not in power. But that is a different chapter, sir. So I conclude by saying that I oppose this unconstitutional bill, which violates federalism, which is part of the basic structure of our constitution. This is completely wrong. It will, and moreover, I am warning all regional parties that day is not far when Bengaluru, Chennai, Hyderabad or Mumbai can become union territories. Let us be careful. Thank you, sir.